Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Kamen Geats DX Raise Riser Belt and Raise Riser Card Set. So yeah, this is their standard quota of, hey, we need to get these kind of belts out in this toy line because we haven't yet. Because obviously, if you can recall, since 01, they've been trying to get these buckle-esque belts out. You know, with 01 with the Shot Riser and the Force Riser, Saber with the Jokken Driver and the Psycho Driver, and then Revice with the two-side driver. Obviously, retail-y. We have the core belt for the Laser Raise Riser supporter riders, I should call them. And obviously, as you can see right here, it also states the Raise Rise card set, comprising of the cards for Kekira and Kyun, as we can see all four of the support riders. And just shows off Kekira and Kyun, and Belroba and Kyun. I think, was this foreshadowing? No, because Kyun's down here, so never mind. But Gene's up here because he's the only one that's a physical suit. And there's all the contents. PDF, QR code for the PDF file. And basically just tells you how to use these two cards. It barely talks about the buckle. And I like how small they finally made these boxes. So here are the contents poorly out of the box. We'll just take a look at everything one by one of the belt. Obviously, here is the Raise Rise belt, or what is it called, holder? I don't remember. Here's the front of the belt, and or buckle. It is a buckle, so this is the second Ryder buckle to be released of recency, because I forgot to point out the Swords of Logos buckle. But I like this thing. I like the design of this. It's pretty simplistic, and you know, it might be a piece of plastic, but I think it's unique for sure. It reminds me a lot of the Shot Riser holder, just without, like, it just feels like a more expanded version of that, because I did always like that part, but I just like this piece a lot. So obviously it has all the trans stamps and such. This is our Raise Riser holder, which I'm calling it, or like the Raise Buckle holder, just now in black. And this one is specifically the left one. This is the right. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I care. So this is just a color comparison. I do like this thing in black, so that's pretty neat. Last but not least, actually, well, I mean, first of all, the standard belt clip or cover. We have these standard belt straps at this point in gunmetal, which I feel like we got these with the Raid Riser. I don't remember. But obviously, this one's the left, and this one's the right. So obviously, at this point, 4 years in, we should know how to put these belts together. So you just simply slide that in like so. You want to leave this a bit off center. Then you want to slide the right section in like so. Then you want to conjoint the two like that, and then press the right one on top of the left. You have to keep in mind, just kind of, you have to keep in mind they're not exactly like, it's kind of angled. I don't like that personally, but what are you gonna do about it? You want to hold these two together as you grab your raised buckle holder, and make sure it's the right orientation. You want to slide this in like so, because it gets stuck. And then you still want to hold these two together because now you have to slide in the cover. I'm doing a lot worse here than I did in the demo. The demo was simple, but you come together for like so, and close that gap or close that part in, and now we have the laser or the riser belt or buckle. I don't remember. I like this thing. I know a bunch of people despise this thing because it's a useless buckle toy that they can't do anything with, but it's just like, I still like they found a way of like incorporating this thing, even if it's not really seen much. Like, I just like that they still incorporated the belt in some way. And I just like how simplistic it is and such. Because obviously the core thing is taking your laser raise riser and actually being able to holster it. Obviously within the show, like, I like the way they so like obviously this thing, or basically I guess the card is what helps like summon this thing, because obviously they put it up to their waist, it summons the laser raise riser, and then like uniquely you actually have to turn the holster back, or the clip back, so then you can actually holster the laser raise riser in this orientation, and it makes so much sense why they made it in this orientation, so then it's a lot easier to actually like pull it back. Because obviously if you just have it like, if you just have it like this, it's obviously going to be a lot more, there's actually a lot more like conflict? No. There's less in the way of basically lifting it up, and it's just, for this case, it is actually a lot more easier just to like pull it back, which I like so much. Just the look of this thing as a whole, I adore it a lot. I just like this look there is to it, and like, yeah, like, I would have liked if there was, I guess, more white, but I mean that's for the suit. I think for a belt buckle, it's pretty neat. And like, obviously you can display it with just the laser raise riser down here, but then again, it's just not really, this actually gives you more room in a way. Like, I think my only gripe, which is really minor, is that I kind of wish there was a way of actually being able to store the cards, which is unconventional, obviously, because all the writers obviously store their cards in here. So it's just like, there's no point, because technically the cards are in here. Not the cartridge. It's not called. They're all in the loader. So like, and they're in the laser raise risers. So there's not really any point of having any storage. But I mean, I just think it would have been more conventional. Just so then you don't have all your like cards just stacked in a pile and such. Especially if we're supposed to get, you know, especially if they're just gonna re-release all these again. So it's just like, I would rather just have a way to like put these somewhere that isn't just laying around. But anyways, here we are with the laser raise riser cards for this set. So here is Kikura. His is the only one that's actually supposed to be in this orientation, because that's how the card comes onto him. Such. And then obviously he supports Tycoon. Right? Yeah. So, and then he has the middle notch filled in and such. Other than that, not really much different from the norm. And then, probably my favorite card of these, Kyun, which obviously Keikura is a frog, Kyun is a lion. and there is Naga's Ryder symbol. Then Kyun has the first and third notches filled, and his card is vertical. Yeah, vertical, as that's how the card slaps onto him. Which, again, his is definitely my favorite of the four. I think second will probably be Belroba, just because it's a side profile. But again, I just like how they all manage to like be different orientations in a way. Especially Geats is, again, probably the most creative, just being like just slanted. Like, it's pretty neat. So let's use these two within the laser raise riser. So here we go with Kikira first. Just load it in like so. Slot it in. So now we have a green LED, which I apologize is actually not coming out. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's only coming out in this angle. If you can recall, the finishers are basically the same. So I'll just do one per rider. And then, last but not least, Kyun. Yellow LED. His is definitely my favorite jingle-wise also. Sadly, the yellow LED's the hardest one actually to come out. That's unfortunate. But again, he has the finish mode, so we would do the sport mode. Because this one actually did happen. Allowed Neon to use it as a lance. Yeah, obviously if we were, again, just for equality. It's not even centered. So, just to show that obviously these don't do anything. And they still have the same properties as the other cards. Sorry if I'm causing this too harshly. Obviously, the way this works is kind of weird because it. So you press this like really small button, but like the clip inside is like barely goes down. So it's just kind of like a weird button. Like at least releases, but like I'll definitely admit it's. I mean it's a really good like clip. So I'll at least give it that. But yeah, where is it? My thoughts on the set overall, like, I can definitely see why it's like one of those like monotonous purchases of like, man, like, can't believe they forced me to buy a buckle. But I don't mind it personally, just because it really does help complete the package. And yeah, like having these two cards in there is a nice incentive of forcing you getting this buckle. But it's one I don't mind because I really like the simplistic look of it, and it just helps complete the look of the laser raise riser, even if it's not really standing and such. it would have been more beneficial if they actually did release this in a set for those that, you know, just wanted to get it all and over with, but they saved the set for later for some reason. And also, it could have just helped because, again, like what I said before, due to how popular this was, most stores only had the buckle. So most people were only able to get the buckle and had to wait on this thing to get released again. Which is kind of upsetting, but like, you know, like, yeah, eventually they did get it released again. But I don't mind this buckle. Like, I think I kind of said the same thing in the Swords of Logos buckle. I don't remember what I said there. I might have had different opinions. But this one, I don't mind. This is like a really, like, I really like this. Just to be able to do this. And like, you know, again, roleplay of being able to like just have the card, put it up to your waist, and like having the belt like come in. Like I honestly really like that. So it's maybe that issue. But other than that, like I think definitely finding the buckle is going to be a lot easier than the Laser Raise Riser itself, because this only retailed for like $30 just because it doesn't do much. Which, yeah, it doesn't. It's not bad, but like again, the thing is that you basically this is kind of like cashing in on whether or not you actually did or are able to get a Laser Raise Riser, because then you can't really use these things in anything else. Like, I mean, I'm glad they didn't try to force in other weird things and such. And like, again, it helps with it being like independent, and because if you don't like, you know, if you didn't bother getting this thing, you don't need to get this thing. It's like a big skip and such. I mean, I just think it's at least better they actually gave you something rather than what they did with the Mirai watch holder of not giving you anything. Like, I always don't like holder or buckle sets that don't even give you a gimmick because it's like those things are absolutely pointless. Obviously, I got the Mirai watch holder just to actually have him because it was cheap, but it was still baffling that thing didn't come with a Mirai watch because that could have came with Shinobi, but nope, they waited until the next month. Anyways, now to do this review, this is where I now leave people. Bye, I guess.